Our political reporter Harry Horton is in Downing Street for us this evening. Harry, damaging, especially when the PM is considering more restrictions.
I think there are two key problems for the Prime Minister tonight. The first is that he hoped this investigation would be over by now. It's clearly not, and it appears to be widening. And the second is, as we've been hearing, he's got some big decisions to make in the next few days about whether to introduce extra restrictions at a time when his own adherence to previous restrictions is being questioned.
Well, let's speak to Harry Horton, who's in Washington for us. I mean, this is obviously a big moment, but what happens next?
Yeah, well, all the attention now shifts to that Senate trial in January where the Republicans are in the majority. And I think Donald Trump might be feeling fairly confident about that because so far there's no indication whatsoever that a single Republican is going to vote to remove him from office.
Are you going to resign, Mr. Khan? Will you stand down, Mr. Khan?
The Conservatives have selected local councillor Nadeem Ahmed. He wants to replace the city's former Conservative MP, who's now in prison after being convicted of sexually assaulting a child.
Has he tarnished the reputation of the Conservative Party in Wakefield?
He's in the right place and he's had the right punishment, and the people of Wakefield understand that there's bad apples in every there's bad apples. You know, if you look at Harold Shipman, he committed suicide in Wakefield prison. But do we trust our doctors? You go to your GP, I go to my GP. We still trust our GPs.
Did Boris Johnson lose you this seat, Nadeem Ahmed? Is this defeat down to Boris Johnson, Nadeem? And do you think there's a lot of people like you who might have voted Conservative last time but are now coming back to Labour?
Absolutely, yeah. Loads that I know.
And why is that?
Because of Brexit. Because we voted to leave. And the only way of doing that, we're getting Conservative.
Outside at the morning market, we found a former Tory who switched to the Lib Dems.
And why didn't you want to vote Conservative this time?
Because of everything that's happened. I mean, the Partygate, I'm not bothered, I'm not interested in. It's just the leadership.
Why aren't Labour winning you over?
Because I don't see Keir Starmer as a strong person, to be honest, at all.
Callender raised Jenny's case with the Prime Minister in October.
What should she do to make her home safe?
What I want to get across to you is that a lot of people are, I think, living with a frankly unnecessary sense of anxiety about the homes that they're in, because those buildings are as safe as any other.
Today, Boris Johnson was challenged on his comments at Prime Minister's questions.
In his interview, the Prime Minister said Jenny had, quote, a frankly unnecessary sense of anxiety. So will he meet her to hear why she's worried and do so before the Building Safety Bill completes its passage through the House?
I'm afraid to say the Honourable Gentleman, I have every sympathy with his constituent. What people should be doing is making sure that we do not unnecessarily undermine the confidence of the market and of people in these homes, because they are not unsafe. Many millions of homes are not unsafe, and he should have the courage, Mr. Speaker, to say so.
Why is it right that someone who's widely viewed as sexist, homophobic and a climate change denier should be representing Britain around the world?
Well, first of all, we are due to announce the Board of Trade and no final decisions have been made. But what I'd say about Tony Abbott is he's a former Prime Minister of Australia. Australia is a key ally of the United Kingdom, and he has done a very good job in areas like trade.
You're Minister for Women and Equalities as well. Are you comfortable working with someone who's seen as a sexist by former leaders of Australia?
He's a former Prime Minister of Australia. He's done an excellent job on trade. And of course, we're working very closely with the Australians on striking a new trade deal.
But as Minister for Women and Equalities, are you comfortable with somebody representing Britain around the world who is viewed as sexist, homophobic and who denies climate change?
Well, I think that's a comment that you've clearly made about the former Prime Minister of Australia.
It's not just me who said that. There's former leaders of Australia have said that as well.
Clear, we will make an announcement on the Board of Trade in due course, but I don't think that my commenting on previous comments by somebody else is remotely relevant.
So the Mexican police formed a blockade on this road just a few hours ago. These thousands of migrants have had to sit down and wait several hours, but it looks as though that blockade has now been lifted and this caravan can continue to move north.
After 2 weeks, everyone is tired and they'll take any chance to hitch a ride. The journey has been especially tough for the children of the caravan. Kevin has been walking with his daughter for 15 days. He told us he was tired but determined to reach the US to give his daughter a fresh start, free from the threats from gangs back in Honduras.